I would like for us to meet first, because you never know, it might just be an idea of him that I love.
How was the wedding for you, getting married to someone on death row?
Say someone wants to like get it on, or like, can that happen?
That's happened.
Oh.
Share with everybody what you're doing right now.
Y'all, this is what, for anyone who can't see, I am painting my paint by numbers. It's a picture of me and my son. And this is what I do because I have anxiety, and I don't know why, but talking and painting is like two of the best ways to make my brain stop being loud. So that is what I'm doing today.
Go Paige. And hey, she's doing things that are healthy and proactive to help herself, and we applaud that. So life can get super, like, it can just be a lot, and so sometimes you just need a quiet and a way to manipulate your hands, get your brain focused on things.
It's
painting
so hard
definitely
for
does
me
that.
to like, I mean, I know I talk about it all the time, how it's hard for me to like sit and sit still and talk normally, but then when I'm anxious, like I would just sit here this whole time and be like thinking about like whatever I'm anxious about, because that's who I am. But I already am like good now, even because like Gigi and I have been talking like for like 10 minutes before this.
Yeah.
And I'm like already feeling better, so I'm like, okay,
good. Well, that's good. That's what we want.
Yes,
we want you to get out your anxiety in a healthy manner.
Yes.
Or work through it, at least, not get it out.
Acknowledge it. Feel
sometimes
it.
It doesn't always just go away, but
it's, what is it? What is that saying? It's not a resident. It's just passing through.
It's visiting.
It's just here. You don't live here.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, welcome. This is episode 27. We're almost to 30.
Oh,
holy fucking shit. It's your friendly host, Gigi, here, and I'm here with the ever so lovely and AKA painting like Bob Ross,
your friendly host, Paige, here. Hi, friends.
Yes. And we are on episode 27.
Crazy.
And we hope you guys had a great week. We had a great week. And speaking of painting, we just had our paint and sip night, and that was awesome.
That was fun.
I didn't actually get to paint because I was actually grading writings that my students turned in late.
Is that what you were doing? Because I realized
yes, that's why I was so quiet. I was so quiet because I was grading paragraphs that my students wrote. So
not as fun.
But it was fun. But I enjoyed it. I stayed on probably till about 9 something. My time. I'm an hour behind Paige. And obviously I had to get up early to go see Michael. So I left. But our new admin, Taylor, did a fantastic job. So shout out to our girl, Taylor.
Shout out.
And she did a fantastic job at Paint and Sip. So, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and dive in. We got a little special treat for you guys for episode 27, and you'll see that shortly. But we're going to go ahead and start with our sponsor, Beyond Bars Imaging. You can find Beyond Bars Imaging on your Instas, on TikTok, and on Facebook. And what is Beyond Bars Imaging, you ask? Why? It's only the best photo editing company that Paige set up herself. She's INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means, man? Anyway, she's got the best photo editing skills in the game, and she is doing amazing things, especially preparing for the holidays. You got your fall pics, you got your pumpkin patch pics, you got your Halloween pics. She even puts costumes on if you need a Halloween costume pic. She will even do your Thanksgiving spread pics, and your Christmas holiday couple or family photos. And you say, well, I don't have any pictures of us together. Oh, that's not a problem. Paige is a genius, and she can merge people together and make it look like a real picture. You guys, I can't stress that enough. So Hit a girl up, slide into her DMs, check out her page, get those requests in soon because it will start to pick up and then things get kind of hectic around holiday time. So go ahead and put your orders in now, please. Beyond Bars Imaging.
It's literally going to be insane during Christmas this year because Christmas last year was insane. And now like people know more because like I started doing it like at the beginning of like December, I feel like.
Yeah.
And
now you're getting the requests now. Like I saw, I mean, you just did the pumpkin pick like last week. So I know they're starting to trickle in right now. So put yourself in line, guys.
Listen, Joe was talking about our Christmas card picture that I made last year. He was just talking about how the edits that I've been doing recently, like he thought the ones I did before were really good. And now he's like, these ones are even better. And he was like talking about the Christmas pick. And that made me just be like, now I need to start planning our Christmas photo for the card because I'm like, I have to obviously outdo myself because that's just the kind of person I am.
And I'm going to order one because I want one of me, Mike, and Mycicle. I call him Mycicle now. Me, Mycicle, and Gustavo.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah. Listen, you guys, she does dogs and pets and all kind of whatever animal you want in your picture, she can put it in. So
I just had a woman send me her four oh God, what kind of dogs are they? They're not like Frenchies, but they're like the little bulldog. They're so cute.
Like English bulldogs or Bostons, like Gustavo?
I don't know. I'll have to show. I'm so bad at dogs, like knowing dogs are. But I
have to see it because I'm a dog person.
I want to. I'm like, this will be so much fun.
So guys, get your requests in now because it's going to get hectic. It's going to pile up and you want to have it before the holiday season kicks off. So Beyond Bars Imaging. All right, Paige, we ready to get it started?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. I'm ready. What up with that? All right, it is time for What Up With That? Maybe legislation. Lately, it hasn't been legislation. A lot of well, we've tried. I mean, we put it in, but
it's not.
So, Paige has got some very scathing news. So I'm gonna let her share for What Up With That.
I do. My news is something that we have talked about a few times. Correction officer at Milan prison had sex with an inmate and bought him a gold chain. That's the title of the article. It says, in Milan, Michigan, a corrections officer who was working at a federal prison in Milan had admitted to having sex with an inmate and smuggling contraband into the facility. Kara Wozniak of Milan is a former corrections officer at FCI in Milan. She was charged in May after being accused of having sex with an inmate who was under her authority at the prison, providing contraband to him from April through November of last year.
Holy shit, for like half a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
According to authorities, she pled guilty on Thursday, September 12th to one count of sexual contact with a ward and one count of providing contraband in a prison. Court documents claim that she engaged in sexual intercourse with an inmate twice and then smuggled in pouches of loose tobacco for him to sell in the prison. She also reportedly purchased a gold necklace for him that she smuggled into the prison. She will be sentenced February 5th, and she faces up to 15 years.
Holy shit.
So
she got them chains.
That's the craziest part about that whole article for me. It's like, and gave him a gold chain. Like, okay.
Was it snake or herringbone? That's what I want to know. What kind of chain was it?
Like,
the chain hang low, doesn't wobble to and fro. Whatever.
He was like, thanks for all this. Now bring me a fucking chain.
Yeah. Fuck the tobacco, bitch. I need gold.
He was like, gold, thanks for having sex with me. Now I need a chain.
Yeah. She just wanted to show her love and appreciation.
Yeah. Aww. Just like us.
Well,
What up with that?
What the fuck up with that?
Yeah.
It always amazes me how, people that work, and you hear this from the people that work at the facilities, like sometimes even the people that work at the facilities are worse than the incarcerated individuals. And this just proves it. And the stories we talk about every freaking week about this happening.
And this is just what gets found out.
Yeah, correct. And you think about all the other stuff that is happening that never gets reported.
Or is just covered up, or
or just swept under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, it would be nice to be able to have relations with my husband, because apparently it's okay to be a CO and do it, but not an actual spouse. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm in my feels about that. You know how I feel about that.
Can I bring my husband a chain?
Yeah.
Or just you? Were you just alone?
Oh, just you. Oh, okay. It's okay. But you know what? You know who brings everything in?
Us.
The visitors.
It's us. We did that during COVID too. We got drones and dropped it off in the.
We brought guns in, guys. We brought actual handguns into the prison during COVID. Just letting you guys know, because that actually happened here in Louisiana.
You know what's like crazy to me is, I don't know how it is for like Louisiana with the guards, but like the CDCR guards, the backpacks that these men and women carry are huge and like multi-pocketed. And like, what do you have in there is my question. And also when they do their check-ins, I swear this is what they do. They like throw it up and they're like, and then they go. And I'm like, okay, that would be so easy to just like.
Yeah, they bring in shit all the time. And one guy even brought it in on a Subway sandwich.
What?
At Angola. Brought shit in on his foot-long fucking Subway sandwich.
That's
and
crazy.
Can I ask this about CDCR? Did the guards have their bags? Are they see-through? Because like at Angola and Louisiana, they're all see-through. Everybody has to have a see-through backpack or a see-through duffel or whatever.
No, I feel like they're like brown.
Okay.
Or green. I don't know. One of the colors. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
They're
like an army kind of color. Like a
they
fatigue.
aren't see-through, I promise.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at Angola, they have to be see-through. So everybody has clear bags that they bring. Now they bring like huge bags, but they're clear and see-through. So I guess to make sure nobody's bringing in stuff, but people are still bringing in shit,
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything happened this week, Paige, that you want to share?
Well, I was just going to say, speaking of literally last night, when Joe and I were on the phone, he told me that when his cellie went out to yard just to walk around at night because they had nighttime yard, that they had to call yard down, which happens all the time over there now.
Mm-hmm.
But because someone was high on spice and they were out near the soccer net and they started like they like fell over and started like twisting around in the soccer net because they were like high on spice. And they called yard down and they had to like go like get him out and stuff. And it's crazy. And the day before that, Joe said that there was someone high on spice in the cafeteria when they were eating breakfast, and the guy started like overdosing while he was at the table, so he starts throwing up everywhere. And like the way that the CDCR guards are, they have to like detain them even when they're overdosing like that. So like they had to like handcuff this man, and Joe said that they were getting like puke all over them and stuff. And I'm like, does anyone care about all of these things? Like,
yeah, like
just
clearly
another day.
We have an epidemic of ODing, and it's not just in CDCR. It's across the nation in prisons. We saw it happening in Michigan, in Maynard. No, not Michigan, Illinois, in Maynard. Mm-hmm. We also see it happening down here in Louisiana. I mean, you had a federal investigation of Hunt because of the whistleblower who came forward with the drugs being a problem in prison and people ODing constantly. So it's a growing problem, and it's only going to get worse. Mm-hmm. And until the people that manage facilities, the wardens, the councils, whoever the hell is on charge, until they start really going hard on the people that work there, they're not and punishing them. They're not going. The problem is just going to keep perpetuating. It really will.
And it's like,
And
I understand it's a hard thing to like try to put your finger on and like work through, but to not do anything is literally letting it explode into this thing where, I know you guys have your Narcan and stuff, but it's just not acceptable. It's like, and then also I selfishly maybe think about Joe and every other person and all of the amount of overdoses you have to witness just
the
daily.
trauma.
That is that's so much. Like, he's so used to it now, and it's like every time he tells me, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, and it's traumatic for people around them to see all that constantly. Even though they're probably tough and they're like, well, it's just another day, but it does, seeing something traumatic like that does affect you whether you want to admit it or not. So yeah, it's a problem, and people need to stop looking at us and start looking at their own people and trying to pinpoint where this is happening, because it's just, like I said, it's just going to get worse, y'all. Just going to get worse, sadly. Well, I'm just going to quickly talk about Sundays because it's Sunday. We're recording on a Sunday. I don't know how you feel, Paige, about Sundays, but I was speaking with some of the RHOA members, and Sundays are hard for us. I'm sure it's hard for you, for everybody out there, because Sunday is family day. Sunday is Sunday dinner day, like you do stuff with your family on Sundays. And when you wake up and you know that they're not there, how do you deal with that? Like, I have to make myself go do shit. Went to the gym, I did laundry. I mean, went to the grocery. Like, I have to make myself get up, motivate myself to get up and do stuff. But because I was sitting in bed and I was just thinking, and I'm like, good Lord, I had visit yesterday, and I was upset after visit because I just sat with Michael from 8:30 to 2, and I just said, I want to take him out of there. Like, I know he has to be prison Mike, and he has to do this other, almost like another persona, to be an incarcerated individual in a rough place, And I said, I just want to take him, and all the shit he's been through his whole life. I just want to take him out of there and just love him. And it's not even about sex. It was just
No,
like,
totally.
I just want to nurture him and take care of him because he's been through a lot of shit. And I'm sure like a lot of us can relate to that with our loved ones. They've been through so much trauma, so much other things that have happened in their life. And some of that could be the reason that they're there, Um, and I just want to take him home and just love him. And I would just think like, I cried for that yesterday on my way home. And today it hit me hard because I still felt that pain, but for some reason, Sundays, every Sunday is rough. So, we're with you on those days, guys. Just know you're not alone out there. And I'm sure it's the same for you, Paige.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's like it's like events. So like today I went to like a baseball game with my work, and they paid for our families to go and spend time, and I'm like, the whole time I'm just like, wow, to be at a baseball game with Joe, like what a crazy, what a crazy dream that would be. And that makes me sad. And I feel like Sundays in a way also, it's like, the end of the week, the end of everything, and it's just like you just want to close it out with like your person, it's what feels right. So I feel like that's why it hurts more.
Absolutely.
It's like in front of your face type.
Yeah. It's like you can see everything around you happening, and
Yes.
that one person that you know is your home is not there with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Right.
Sunday mornings suck because I roll over and I just want them to be there. But, I guess you have to find ways of working through that. Like I said, I have to just keep going. Like, because if I just sit there and sulk, it's just going to be a day of me crying in bed. And I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to spend my hours doing that. So I had
Mhm.
to wash my face, pick my tits up, and just keep on trekking. So I just wanted to share that because, I feel like we
Yeah.
all obviously I'm not the only one, because my friend Jess, who was on the pod, we were talking about it and she was feeling the same way. And another girl, another RHOA was talking about it. She was feeling the same way. And so we were just kind of sharing and commiserating together. And I thought, well, let me bring it to the pod because I know we're not the only three, So
Not to make it religious or anything, but also Sunday is obviously God's day, and they like weirdly enough, maybe not weird, but Joe and I have been very like I don't know, saying we have a weird relationship with God probably isn't the right word, but we've never like had like that the ability to like give ourselves to God the way other people have, and that's something that both of us right now are kind of trying to work through and figure out, because like as like someone, if you have me on TikTok you might know what I'm talking about, but I made a TikTok about how I'm like going through like this journey of figuring out my faith and how I want to you know
yeah.
figure out what I really think about it and everything, because I feel like I have so many negative things attached to it, and that's not really fair, and I would love to be able to use that as like a healing outlet and like a new way to work through
Yeah.
life, and we're both doing that together, so like that's another way that Sunday can maybe I've had a lot of people tell me that doing that with your husband, not that I'm encouraging that by any means, I know like everyone is definitely free to do whatever they want, but a lot of people have told me that doing that with their husband has made them not only like have a better relationship with God, but like a better relationship with their loved one. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to figure out if that
I truly believe that. And I mean, you and I talked today about it, and we're kind of in the same place. I mean, we've kind of both grew up in this institutionalized religion, forced down our throats, and um, didn't feel connected to it,
hmm
and then you see what's happening in the world and or in front of you, and then you see what
like
people are saying,
how
and it doesn't connect. Like there's a disconnect there.
hmm
So I'm proud of you for posting that. I really am, because I know you were like, should I do this? Should I not do this? And I'm like, no, do it, because I know you said other people told you to do it too. I think it's a good discussion to have, because I know a lot of people, including myself, that are in the same position. And I was somebody that was in a very religious family, and had to do everything in the church. Everything was done in the church, getting married in the
hmm
church, everything. And
hmm
then now, after my divorce, I went into non-denominational, and I fell in love with the way my pastor, it was a small church. I mean, he just sat up there with a guitar and preached and sang, and he was barefoot. Like it was just very different from what I grew
hmm
up with. And then unfortunately he got ill. He had ALS.
Oh, that's
Um,
yeah, you told me about.
yeah. And
Does he
so
still?
no, he doesn't pastor anymore. And so I haven't found anything. I've tried. And then obviously I had my big break with talking to God. I felt like I always had a close relationship in talking to God, like one on one. But I lost that when Michael went through the clemency process. Um, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
felt like I try to live my life and be a good person, and I just felt like God was really testing me, and I was just very angry at him for that. So we're working. We're working. So I'm just saying you're not alone. I'm in the process of working back
Like even
or
hearing you
finding
just
a way.
say about your pastor, getting ALS, that
Mhm.
like tying that together to that makes me really angry. And I'm just like, that does like that's another thing
And
where I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense.
I
Like,
know,
what? Why is that? Like,
and I'm gonna say this about him, and if you don't follow him, he's pretty big on social media because of his ALS, and he's constantly posting, and he is a beautiful human being, and this is why I love him and respect him so much, because even throughout this whole process, he has done nothing but preach about love.
mm-hmm,
People caring for him, people stopping by to say hello, like all of his posts are just the last thing he always says is love, period. Like he has handled this situation with so much grace and beauty, and he could be such an angry person like myself who's an angry person at God, but he's not, and
mm-hmm.
it's so inspiring. And so when I see something like that, that makes me kind of go, okay, well, maybe I'm looking at it wrong,
Yeah.
and so I don't know, I'm on a journey too with you, so you just know you're not alone. But I love that you and Joe are doing this together. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is a beautiful thing, because it's not only going to bring you closer on your journey, wherever your journey takes you, it's going to bring you, the two of you, together a lot closer too. So,
Definitely. I have you read Tuesdays with Maury?
nope, I'm writing it down right now.
You would love that.
Okay. Me and Mycicle.
Oh my gosh, yes. Bro, not bro. Me and Joe read.
Okay.
It's really good.
Tuesdays with, it's Maury.
Um, I think it's Morrie.
Oh, okay. Got it. M, wrote it down.
There's also, it's not a book, but I cannot think of his name right now. Um, the one guy who I follow who is like an advocate for ALS and all this stuff. He's also like super positive with all of his posts and stuff. And at the end of them, he always signs them like "Good Night Moon," like
Aw.
at the end. And I'm just like, and then on like Fridays, he always posts a picture of him and his wife, and he's like, "It's Friday, I'm in love." And I just like see that stuff, and I'm just
Oh
like,
my God.
I know, I
Sorry.
know, I know, it's
Ooh.
crazy.
That's beautiful, though. It's
Mhm.
beautiful how people can take, and I love that part about it, that people are so, even with the tragedies, they still project love, because it's just hard for me to do,
I know.
and I'm sure a lot of people are like that. They struggle with it,
Hmm.
so. All right. Well, we're going to move into our interview with
Yay.
our lovely new admin for Love Within Walls and our friend from Pentionery, Miss Sigrid. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our interview with our lovely Miss Sigrid. We're going to be asking her about her prison wife journey. All right, here we go.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Oh my god, I don't even know where to start. I have so many questions.
Okay.
Maybe should we start with maybe just give a basic intro into your lovely life and maybe how you
How we
got
met.
involved? Yeah.
Okay. So when I was 19, I decided to start writing to people who were on death row, just because I've always been against the death penalty, and from Europe, there was not much I could do. So one of the things that the organization there was saying is that get a prison pen pal. So that's how it all started. So I wrote to my first pen pal for like 14 years, I think, before I decided, I think I can write to someone else, because now I was living in Denmark at the time. So the school schedule was really different from France. So I had a lot more free time.
Hmm.
And I was really happy, and I felt like I had a lot of energy and positivity, so that I could help someone else. So I was looking for another pen pal. The only criteria I had was that he needs to be on death row, and also that he needs to be closer to my age, because my first pen pal was in his 60s, and I was in my 30s at the time. So I wanted someone between 25 and 35. And my future husband turned out to be the only one that fit that criteria at the time. So I didn't have to go through a lot of profiles. I just read his. I hesitated because he was young. He was actually just 26
Mm.
then. And I was like, maybe this is too much for me because someone so young on death row. Uh, I mean, it's good that there was so few results, right?
Yeah,
Like we don't
right.
want the people on death row,
Yeah. Hmm.
but it was. I had a setback. I was like, I'm not sure I can do this because I was like, maybe if we get too friendly, it's gonna be really hard on me. And also California, I kind of stopped doing execution at the time, but not Florida. He was in Florida.
Hmm.
So that was really, yeah, I took another month to think about it. And then I decided, because I kept thinking about him and his ad, and I was like, I think I want to do it. So that's how we met.
I love that. I feel like I can relate that to my story with Joe because it's like I had a small waiting period where I didn't write back to him or like know what I was going to do, but in the back of my head, I think I always knew that I was going to just do it, but I did take that time too to just be like, is this am I doing this? Like life without parole? Like I know it's different from the death penalty, but it's like,
It's still
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know, Gigi, you were a pen pal too.
Yes. And like I said, your story is very similar to mine in the fact that you found this one and you were like drawn to it, but like scared at the same time or like not sure about it. So yeah, it's definitely the same. And then obviously I feel like, like what Paige said, they stood out, they stand out for a reason, and that's the person that, you're meant to write to. And here here we all are,
Right.
so.
Yes.
Um, Having lived in Denmark and France, you've been able to kind of see how their justice systems work over there. So, now being here, um, how would you describe if you had to compare them to one another?
So, yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is that in Europe, we actually, not saying we're perfect and doing everything right, but we actually believe in rehabilitation. Like, you do have a second chance.
Mhm.
We don't have, it's very rare. I think we have like two people who actually serving life without parole in France.
Wow.
It does not exist. Otherwise, it's like 30 years, and you always have a chance to get out. And also, just the way we treat people who are incarcerated, we don't have their mugshot and all their information all available online. So when you go back to society, you don't have all that stuff following you.
Wow.
So definitely, um, huge difference, huge
Mm-hmm.
difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually worked. So I was in Denmark, and because I was I'm going forward, but we were about to get married, so I went back to France. And when I stayed in France for 2 years waiting for my visa, I worked in a prison there. So I could also see, the cells, and everything was different. Yeah,
Wow.
treat them with more respect, I think. We always talk about Mr. X or Mr. Y, it's not inmate number, whatever. It's a big
Yeah.
thing.
They actually treat them like human beings.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
I'm super interested to hear about your relationship with Alan and how it kind of built onto what it was. Like, what made you decide to then go visit him and then, go from there?
So, I'm just gonna cut my emails because I saw there was a beep coming. Um, so I met Alan through letters. We wrote for a few months, and then we kind of had a fallout, um, because he was starting saying that he had feelings for me, and I was not ready for that. I was just enjoying whatever we had. We were a really close friend at the time. I was telling him everything, and when I say everything, now it's like too much
Mm-hmm.
because
It
I
happens.
was right. Everything I was doing, even like the man I was meeting, I was telling him everything. And I noticed there was something not wrong, but more, because every time I was doing something, I was like, almost more excited about going home to tell him about it than actually living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need to tell Alan. I need to take a picture of this for Alan. I was Alan, Alan, Alan all the time. So I was like, okay, that is not something that I felt for my other pen pals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew, I was like, okay, I like him maybe a little too much. But for me, it was still, um, it's impossible. You know, he's on death row. He's in another country. Like, there's no even idea of a possible relationship at this point. It's just I'm just enjoying everything that I can get. But now, if he start talking about feelings that he has himself, it's getting serious,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not ready for that. So I kind of told him that, and I also took all the cliche. I made the list of all the cliche of what the incarcerated people are using the people of the outside for, and I was like, maybe you're doing that. And then I was contradicting myself because I was like, well, no, because you wouldn't have the time to write as much to someone else, or maybe you want my money. No, because I don't send you money.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think. But I went through all the lists and I was like, let's just see. But I was telling him everything. So I told him I went through all that. And he acted a little bit upset when he first got my letter saying, well, I don't think I gave you any reason to think this way, to think those things. And he said he understood and that he will um, be patient, or whatever. But he kind of stopped writing to me. He stopped writing for not to punish me or anything, but it was more like he needed to think about it. And when I didn't know, because the time, the letters, it was all through mail. So by the time the letter arrives, I kept writing and writing and writing. At some point I'm like, well, I haven't had a letter in a week. That's unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now it's been a week and a half, 2 weeks. I think maybe he's not writing anymore. So it took me that long to stop writing. Also because I didn't realize he stopped. And once I realized that, I was really, really sad. And also, in the meantime, stupidly, I sent back my visitation application. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were cool. I thought everything was fine. I just basically told him, it's a little too much too soon. Let's wait and maybe. But in his mind, I don't know. It was just I felt humiliated and ridiculous at that point, because I'm like, now he's gonna get a return knowing I applied, when he's not even talking to me anymore. He doesn't want to talk to me anymore, probably. So this is. I just felt like I have a lot of pride, and I just felt like really stupid in that moment, in those few weeks. And I was really depressed too, so I had to ask myself why, because I kept crying all the time. I was missing him so much because we've been so close, and now I don't have anyone to talk to, because my friends are in France. I'm in Denmark. Most of my friends in Denmark stayed for 1 year and then went back to their countries, while I stayed there. And I felt suddenly very lonely, just because he was not the part of my life anymore. It was
Mm-hmm.
like everything's missing now. So that's when I realized I probably have more than friendship feelings for him. And he finally wrote back after 6 weeks. Well, basically, it was like a month break, but by the time I get the letter, it was 6 weeks. I remember 6 weeks specifically, with nothing. And when he wrote back, first he told me he loved me, but he had to think a lot about me and us, and that he understand my position. He would not impose anything on me, and that he said I've been in turmoil for the last few weeks. Um, but I decided I will just take anything that you would give me. Basically, I just want you in my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
I literally just listening to you two, it just sounds like you both were trying to protect yourselves in
Yeah.
different ways, and in turn ended up being like, yeah.
Exactly. Because
Mhm.
when he wrote back, I was like, I have two options. I act like, okay, cool, that's nothing. It doesn't really touch me or anything. Or I tell him, I've been in the same situation and this is where I'm at. And I really hesitated because it's hard for me to admit when I have feelings or if I
Mhm.
like someone. I don't really like I don't talk too much about that either. And so I had to do a pet talk to myself, like, if you could lose him if you're not being honest with him. So I decided to write back, and I told him that I have been in the same situation, asking myself a lot of questions, and but that I would like for us to meet first,
Mhm.
because you never know, some it might just be an idea of him
Mm.
that I love.
Mhm. How
So
was
that was.
how,
Mhm.
how was that experience? Like flying in and going to a United States prison and
So first, I always said I'm never going to go to the United States because they have the death penalty, and I'm not going to those countries who have the death penalty. Not bringing them my business. So I was really,
now you're a resident.
I screwed up completely because I my first visit to the United States was to Florida to go on death row. So yeah, so that is something I had to come to terms. And it was, so when we wrote back to each other was like maybe September, and I went there in December. So, the time to book tickets like a month in advance to organize. It was also for the holidays
Mhm.
to get more visitation,
Mhm.
because in on Florida Death Row they have the holidays like Christmas and New Year for visitation. So I was like, if I'm coming, I'm not coming for 1 week. I've never been to the US. It's a long trip. I mean, it's an expensive trip. I know a lot of people go back and forth for like just 1 week or sometimes just for one visit on a weekend. I could never do that. It's just not enough and too hard and too much money.
Mhm.
I feel like I need to, um how do you say that? Um Invest, in it.
Mhm.
And so I went for 3 weeks, which we had a total of 7 visits, if I remember well, because I had also special visits at the time. They don't exist anymore, really. But if you were coming from out of state, you could get an extra day every 60 days, something. I can't remember the detail exactly, but I had extra days and plus the holiday, so we had like 7 visits in just 3 weeks. So that
Oh,
was a big deal, a good
Mhm.
deal.
yeah.
Bet that was great. Bet that you were probably like, let's get married now.
No,
No? How'd
no.
you get to that point then?
Yeah, it took a while because when I arrived, I felt like first I was really shy. Like the first visit, we barely talked.
Mhm.
Um, he had a very strong accent, and I felt like I could not understand him. So I was like, my English is that bad? I can't understand the guy. Like, what is going on? And he just thought I was shy. So we kind of looked at each other's eyes for like the a visit is 6 hours.
Mhm.
So we just like stare at each other, and what people say is that if you look at someone's eyes, even a stranger, for like 2 or 3 minutes, then you feel a bond with them. And I always say, as a joke, but I'm kind of thinking it, that because we stared at each other, we looked at each other's eyes for 6 hours the first time. That's why our bond is so strong and it's been lasting for so long.
Mhm.
So the first visit was really awkward, to be honest.
Mhm.
Um, s- he was still, we were writing every day, so he was writing to me to my hotel. So in between visits, I would get mail and letters and cards and stuff like that. And at some point, I had a letter from him saying basically, I'm still not sure what you think of me because I was not showing so much.
Mhm.
I still wanted to make sure. I also felt like when I arrived, his ex girlfriend had just visited, and she got really upset about him having a girlfriend coming, and I was like, he doesn't have his shit together. I'm not getting into that. Maybe I can do the prison, death row, the long distance, but I'm not dealing with no ex.
I
Like
hear
this is
you. Yeah.
no, like this is too much. I don't want to be over there in Denmark wondering about what is going on, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I eventually we had to talk. We spent Christmas together. We spent New Year together. Then I had to leave. I think just after that, and we kind of decided that we were together in the last couple of visits, but we only talked about marriage like a year later.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And how was the going from just going, like, how often did you visit after that?
Um, so I stayed that time 3 weeks, and then I waited 5 months, and I
Mhm.
went back for another month,
Mhm.
and that's when he proposed. So that's not actually a year. That's less than a year. That's a year after we met, but that's just a few months after we actually met in person. Um, and after that, I was going every year, every 5 6 months. I would go, but I would once I went back to France, I would go there for like 2 3 months at a time. I would work, save the money, worked in restaurant and job that you can easily leave and get back to,
Mhm.
and save my money, visit him. Luckily, at some point, because I got close to his family, I was staying at his mom instead of paying for a hotel, so that was more financially sustainable.
Mhm.
But we did this for a while until we got married. And then, because of the visa process, I could not visit for like 10 months in a row.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because once you apply, when you try to visit, they can tell that you applied for a visa.
Mhm.
And if they feel like you want to stay in the United States, they won't let you in.
Oh.
Even though you have applied.
Yeah.
So it means like I'm doing things legally, but it's really up to them. So what my lawyer at the time told me is that I could visit after the first application, but there's several steps in the process, and after one step, that's like don't visit anymore because they won't let you in.
That
Yeah,
is so crazy to me. I'm so interested to hear about that entire process because
yeah,
it's so awesome to hear that you were able to do it. And
Mhm.
I've heard of so many stories of women who have not had success. So I'd
yes,
love to hear about yours.
the visa. Um, After we got married, so actually a lawyer told us to get married before I applied for the visa,
Hmm.
because at first we wanted to do like a fiance visa and me coming here, and it would have been so much quicker, and we were eager to see each other more, because I was like, I can't do twice a year. Most of the people on death row who have a wife overseas, that's what they do. They come twice a year for a long weekend, and I was like, I don't see me doing this for the rest of my life, basically. So we talked about doing the visa, and I started contacting lawyers, which obviously almost none of them responded to me when I explained it was a prison situation, but
Hmm.
on top of that, it's a death row situation. I think they don't even take you seriously,
I'm sure.
to be honest. And I finally had one. So one didn't. My first question when I was contacting them was, "Is it even doable? Is it possible? And is he allowed to apply for me? Like, can we do this?" And I was ready to pay for a lawyer and everything, but I wanted an answer to that question first. But the only people who responded, they were like, give us $150 for a phone conversation, and then we can answer your question. So I was like, you're just gonna take 150 to tell me no?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Basically.
I'm not doing that.
Mm-mm.
So then I talked to finally a lawyer who actually told me he was going to do some research because he was not too sure about it. And and then I paid for a consultation with him, and then eventually I hired him. But what he told me is that he found a case where people got the fiancé visa,
Mm-hmm.
but then they didn't get the adjustment of status, which is what make you well allow you to stay in the US and become a resident, because the fiancé visa is like a tourist visa.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, unfortunately, there's a lot of stories where the woman get their fiancé visa, they abandoned everything, went to the US, then they didn't get the adjustment of status and had to leave and go back.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is horrible because first I can't imagine, the heartbreak. But also like you leave everything behind your job, and so it's not something I was willing to try.
Mm-hmm.
So he told us we should get married and do a spouse visa instead. This way, if I'm approved, then I'm a resident. I can work the same day I pass the border. Everything is going to be much easier. So that's when we went with. But honestly, it was a long process. It was over a year and 2 or 3 months in total. But basically, a year of organization before that, and you have to have a solid case. I receive a lot of messages from women who are interested. How did you do this? And can you help me? And can I do this too? But then I told them, okay, you need to show that you traveled many times to go there, that you've met several times, that you know his family, that you got married, that and they're like, oh, I haven't met him yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's too soon to think of that process
Mm-hmm.
because you need to prove you have a solid relationship
Mm-hmm.
that it's been going on for a few years, and yeah, so it's definitely possible, and I help a lot. I always respond to questions because I understand the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I can help someone, I'm willing to do it, but I'm also honest, and I'm not going to tell you, yeah, it's easy. Just no, it's hard. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I want to ask, how was the wedding for you getting married to someone on death row?
Yeah, so the wedding, it was it was a process before the wedding. When you have to get the prison on board, and then at the time in Florida, you had to have the Department of Correction to approve it, not just the warden. So you had to go through all those steps, and we had a chaplain that was not really helpful,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people have. So it took us like 6 months just to get the paperwork. After that, it's kind of funny because you receive a letter in the mail saying, um, this inmate wants to marry you. Do you want to?
Do you consent?
Right. And then you have some paperwork to fill out. So I did. Um, and then we had to match. It was a bit complicated not being in the US because we had to find a date where I would that would work with the prison and that I would be able to travel to at that same date. Um, so we made it work. We actually got married the same date that I sent my very first letter. So that
Love
was pretty
that.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, because it has changed several times, I've seen people get married before and after me, and the process is always a little bit different. But for me, it was the same day as a regular visit, but a Saturday. His regular visit was Sunday, but we had the Saturday, and we so the visit ends at 3 p.m. So after everyone is gone, that's when you have 30 minutes for your actual wedding.
Oh, wow.
So we did get an extra visit out of it, but it's just 30 minutes, and it was really short. because we were still taking pictures when they kind of always start to take him away, But it
Mm.
was a beautiful moment. The day was really stressful. There was an officer that hated me. I hate her too. So we're cool. We hate each other. And because she just always have to find something on someone. When someone
Yeah.
comes, she's just looking, and she will make you walk in front of the sun and what to see if your dress is could be see-through when you're going to be inside anyway. And she's going to find someone, and specifically foreigners. She did not like girls that were from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So that day I had a dress, like a retro 50s dress. And so it was a square neckline, and it was not showing much, but to her it was too much. So I had to keep my jacket the whole day, like my sweater. Sorry, not my jacket, but button up, all day. So I was like, "That's fine. You're not gonna ruin my day." And then they changed their mind about how many people we could have with us. So my mom could get in, but his mom could not get in. So that was a big mess. That lasted all day. So that was really stressful. I was really stressed. I was getting um, really anxious about if people were going to be able to come in for the wedding. Like, I had a friend that traveled all the way from France to be there. My mom was there, and then he had his family. And so basically, what they did is they allow some people half of the day, and then the other people the other half of the day. And then
Hmm.
at 3, when everyone else left, they let everyone come back in. So I was at when everyone came back and we saw that everyone was going to be there, I felt better. But then it hit me like, oh, I'm about to get married. Because all day was just organization, who can come in, what are we going to do. Some gods were trying to help and like be really nice, like, we're going to call them back, and trying to calm us down. But when everyone was there and I started seeing the guards coming in, because I think you need a guard for each person that you have there or something like that. So it was a lot of people. I started being really stressed and not feeling good. Like, I was like about to faint. I was like, I can't, because I was again very shy, and I did not want to be looked at. I felt like really intimidated. And at some point, so we had our notary, our family, and then behind we had like all those guards standing there. And so the notary started talking, and we had written our own vows. So that was really cool. So I started talking, um, and then I was reading, and I was trying to go through it, and started to get a little emotional. So I kind of stopped. I look I looked at the people there just to catch my breath, and just, I don't know, I checked, and I see my friend crying. So I look at my mom, and I see my mom crying. So I'm like, where can I look at the guards, and I see the guard crying. So
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I can't look at anyone. It's not helping. So I looked at him, finished my vows, and then he did his, and he was so stressed too. I could tell, because he couldn't even look at me. He was just trying to say what he wanted to say. And it was really funny because we used a lot of the same private jokes. He was not as like, I tried to use them but make something like very general for everyone to understand, but it was like very very focused on me.
Hmm.
And so we had basically the same vows that we haven't read to each other before. We just found out at the moment. So that was cool. And then we could exchange the rings. We could kiss. They let us kiss. um, and then we could do pictures, but then we had to wrap up pretty fast. So we had to take our pictures like right away. And then they took him away. So that was a little hard because it goes so fast. You want to kind of enjoy the moment, and I would prefer to have the time that we had before after. It would have been like so much better. But like it's like you do it, and then that's it, is gone, and then you have to leave. So, but I had my family. Well, I had my mom and my friend, and then his family. So they took me out to like a restaurant, and they tried to make it a party out of it. So it was a good day. It was a good day. I mean, it was a bad day, but then it was a perfect wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I mean, I love that it turned out to be a beautiful wedding for you and for him. And
Yes.
obviously, so many people were moved by y'all's vows to each other. So even the guards that you think are not emotional,
Yeah.
I love that. And so, being married, that obviously, what made you decide then to move? I mean, when, like, after that, you decided to move to the United States, correct?
Yes. So
Okay.
we already talked about me moving before the wedding, and that's why we decided to do the wedding first, to apply for the visa. So as soon as we got married, I brought back the license and got the wedding um, official. And then I think in the same week I had a meeting with my lawyer to fill out the
Wow.
yeah.
So it was pretty quick. It was a pretty quick turnaround to move to from the
Yes.
wedding to start moving the
Right, but
moving
then
process.
the visa itself took so long that
Okay.
it took like a more than a year. So I had time to, but it's definitely a decision that was made before, yeah,
Okay.
before the wedding. Just because I couldn't, it's cliche, but I just couldn't live without him.
Mm-hmm.
So I just couldn't,
I
I
hear that.
couldn't stay so far and see him like twice a year. It just really made me happy. So I wanted more of that.
So, when did you guys decide that you wanted your little family to grow, per se?
Hmm. This is this is more tricky because um, when I met him, I did not want children.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I would ever want children. And then he always had wanted children. But obviously, in this situation, it was kind of out of the cards for him. Um, so we had a couple of discussion about it, and I kind of noticed at some point that when he was talking about not wanting children, I felt like he didn't want children with me because he had always wanted children. So he was like, no, that's just that I accepted that it's not gonna happen,
Mhm.
and that maybe the world is not the best for to add a kid to it and that kind of things. But I was kind of taking it personally. I was like, he always wanted children, now he doesn't, but now he's married to me. So I guess he doesn't want children with me. You know how we can be twisting things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And at some point, like my clock started ticking. And I was like, okay, my husband is in prison, not coming. Well, I mean, he's on death row at the time. There's no chance of him coming out early enough for me to have a child. For us to have a child together. Um, so yeah, I just decided, my sister got a daughter, and
Mm-hmm.
when I was in France, she was like just a year, and I took care of her every day until she turned 3, and that's what really changed because I was like, oh, maybe I can do this because she adored me, I adored her, and I felt like I'm not so bad at this,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of like doing this. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I thought, okay, if I want a child, um, I need to decide pretty soon. And so yeah, it really comes from my niece. Yeah, having my niece.
That's awesome. Do you do you ever want any more? Or are you good with one? Because sometimes I'm like, I don't know.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want more because mine is too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Mm-hmm.
as easy as she was, and Well, obviously, I only had her, during the day. You don't have to.
It's
It's
easier when
kind
you
of
have them
like,
back. Yeah.
right, the good side.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my God, I think he's in the process of being diagnosed. So I'll tell you when it is official. But we're pretty sure he has ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
and he's hyper. So he's a lot, and that's why I said I didn't want him around when
Mm-hmm.
we do this, because he's just talking and talking and talking nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love this about him too. Like he's really funny, he's very smart for his age, and all that thing. But I cannot, just the one me every day, take care of more than him.
Mm-hmm. It's a it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I wanted to ask if you wanted to tell a little bit about maybe Alan's resentencing journey that you went through, because I people might be confused how we mentioned that he was on death row. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Um, so when I met Alan, he was on death row, and he was on death row until 2022, where we went through a resentencing. So in 2017, his his sentence was vacated because of what is called the Hearst in Florida, which is a case that basically rendered, I'm just simplifying, all the death sentence that happened after 2002 that were not unanimous,
Mm.
illegal. So it was about 100 guys that were resentenced, that had to be resentenced, and then a lot of them went through plea and got life automatically, and then a few of them, I don't know, maybe 30, I don't know exactly, went through a resentencing. So a complete new sentencing phase, so in trial and everything. So unfortunately, no one wanted to give him a plea, so we had to go through the resentencing. But I think in the end, it was a good thing, even though I hated the whole trial situation. It's really hard to have, especially in death penalty case. I know that Gigi, that when, I mean, we're in a room and people are fighting to kill that person, and this just completely blew my mind, and I'm like, I don't even understand how those people can be here. Like, is this even real? Because to me, this is so far from how I think. And I could not believe that we were fighting to kill a person, and that on top of it, that person was my husband. So
Yeah.
that was a really um, trial time. Yeah.
Yeah. And how, I mean, obviously it was a hard time for you. How did you go about handling that? Because I'm just interested, because that was, for me, that was Michael's clemency hearing was really hard for me. I still have not watched it. I refuse to watch it. But being there every day and sitting across from people that want him dead, how did your mental health, how did you handle that mentally?
It was it was really hard, but I work a lot, so this is my way of coping with a lot of things, like working. And I have a regular job on top of all the things that I do, and so that job gave me my days, but they also allow me to work from home a few hours. So I would get up at 6 a.m., work for 2 3 hours, then go to court, spend the day in court, and then go back and work a couple more hours for my regular job. So I didn't really have too much time with my thoughts. And he also was in county jail at the time during the trial, and we had video visits. So that helped a lot too, because every day we would be able to see each other, even though it's just, video visit. Um, and it was it's so hard because he's right there in the courtroom, and you can't touch him, you can't talk to him, you can't. So I think we were lucky to have those video visits in the evening to kind of reconnect and talk about the day, not going too much in details, because obviously we have enough details. Um, but my thing is always to keep myself busy.
Yeah.
Always.
I hear that.
Mhm. Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. It's
I
And
it's a good way. You're productive, so you feel like you're doing something on top of it.
and
uh-huh.
you're
And
not there's spinning your head's not spinning and spiraling. Yeah.
right.
That
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the things that you do, obviously, for prison wives,
that's what I was
the things
literally the wire of hope is
yeah,
what I wanted to know about.
yeah, like all the things that you're doing. You're doing advocacy, you have your own companies. I mean, I just want to know all about all the things that you are doing. Because you do a lot, I will say that. And you're now one of our admins, which is we're so excited about. So I know you've got a lot on your plate. So you want to share a little bit about obviously pensionary and wire of
Yeah.
hope and things like that.
Yes. So I'll start with the first one. I was going to say the first one I started, but it's not true. So the first one I started was Pentionery. It just didn't have a name at the time. I just started doing my own cards because being in that prison relationship, I could not find cards that would fit my situation. Every time was like, what I love about you is waking up next to you, doing this, sharing a meal, whatever, going to the movies. I'm like, yeah, I can't send him that. It's just gonna depress him,
Mhm.
So I started doing my own cards, and then the other prison wives I was visiting with will be asking me about it, and then I started making them for them. At the time, it was really handmade, like drawing myself and
Oh, wow.
stamping and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. It was 10 years ago. So things were a little bit different,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and so I opened like a small Etsy shop at the time, and that's how it started. So now I'm still doing this, but it's bigger. I'm not stamping all the cards by myself. They're printed, but they still fit specifically for prison relationships. And yeah, do we want to talk about what we want to do together?
Yeah, we should.
Okay, so I'm really excited about a new collection that we're going to have. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking it will be ready for October.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're going to have about 20 new cards that have been designed. So again, specifically for prison wives, um, by Paige. So it's going to be a
Featuring help from both of you because you both have given me sayings and ideas too.
right. So we give you the idea, but you're the designer because
Mhm.
I cannot design. I'm not a computer designer person. But so we have a line that's going to be pensionary love within walls. And I have a few samples that I can show you, and I'm going to
Okay,
keep
wait.
this one for the end.
And we haven't seen them yet. Like we haven't seen the actual cards yet, so I'm very very excited.
Okay. Me too. Let's start. I know this one is from you, Gigi.
Oh, besitos! Yes!
I love it so much.
Oh my god! I love it.
With
Then
the
we have
kisses.
this one, which I know is going to talk to you too. We
No.
all have stories with noodles, right?
Yes.
What else can I show? This is a new one.
Ah.
Oh yeah, the famous get in like a back bend to take a sexy picture for your
Yep,
husband.
Anything for
Love
you,
it.
babe.
right. Oh, this one is one of my favorite because I think it's just
I
cute
love
and funny.
that. I
I'm
love
sending
that
that to
one.
Mike. I'm sending
Especially
that to Mike.
the soda can. If anyone sees the extra touch,
Wait, what does it say on it?
look at
And
it.
then
Wait, go over. Mont do. Oh, I want to mount and do ya.
yeah.
Love it. I love it.
And then so we're gonna have a bunch more, but
Yeah.
we're getting ready for Thanksgiving, and I need to show this one because when I told my husband I received it, I was on the phone with my husband, and I just cackled, and I had to tell him what it was about, and he approves it.
Just so our listeners know, it says, I've got your Thanksgiving spread right here, and it's all a nice decorated Thanksgiving table and then a naked girl with her legs open and the turkey's right in front of it.
Mhm.
So that is
Yeah.
epic.
Right
I love
here.
it.
That's why we need to be ready in October so you can all send that to your husbands in November.
Yep. Everyone needs to.
Yes.
Period.
So
I'm so excited for that. We'll have more
yeah, me
information
too.
when we get closer.
Yes, I'll definitely we're gonna have another promo code for the group and everything. Um, yeah,
Yay.
yeah, it's
I'm
gonna
so
be good.
excited. Y'all, we're going to be launching this very shortly. So, really excited. So, be on the lookout for that, please.
Yes, what's your Instagram, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I also want to ask you our question that we always ask our guests. We're big zodiac people. So, what
Okay,
is you and Alan's zodiac signs?
so I'm a Libra sun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a typical Libra too. um, Leo, Moon Leo, and Libra rising. So I'm
Okay.
Libra. And for him, I only know that he's a Gemini.
Hey, that's what me and Mike are. Stop. But we're the
Really?
opposite. I'm the
Yeah.
Gemini. He's the Libra.
Wow, you
See?
guys have like a similar.
Hmm.
I guess
Yeah.
the pairing just works.
Yeah. We're
Right.
both air signs, so it
Hmm.
works. So when is your birthday, Sigrid? Can I ask that?
September 24th.
Oh, so it's next
Okay.
week.
Yep.
Hey, happy
We're
birthday.
gonna have to wish
Thank
you a
you.
major happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm, getting older. Like it's been 10 years that we've been together now. So I still remember, when I met him, he was 26, and then quickly after he turned 27. And I always think about him being in his 30s,
Hmm.
but then I realized, and I forgot again, I think he's 37 now. And yeah, he's 37 now. And I don't even know, I'm, 43 I'm going to be. I don't even know. I don't want to know at this point. But I'm like, I can't believe it's been that long. Yeah,
Yeah.
so many birthdays and Christmases and whatever you celebrate.
And when's his birthday? I'm just curious since he's a Gemini.
May 22nd.
Oh wow. Okay, so he's 4 days ahead of me.
Okay.
All right. That's awesome. Well, we want to thank you for being a part of our interview and sharing your story and sharing your journey and all the ins and outs, the wedding, the visas,
I'm so
everything,
sorry.
going through it all. I mean, you've gone through so much with him um, and doing everything that you do. We want to thank you so much for doing what you do in this community and helping those that need connection and need support. So thank you
Oh,
for that.
thank you for what you do too, because you have, women find each other I know we always talk about, I got rid of all my Facebook group and I'm
Uh-huh.
only seeing this one anymore. But yeah, there's definitely a big difference with your group. And I think it's the overall kindness, I would
Hmm.
say, that we definitely need, because we don't need to tear each other apart like everyone else is doing it.
Say it louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, preach. Thank you for saying that. We really appreciate that. It's
Yeah.
great to
Thank you
hear.
so much, Sigrid.
Thank you.
And we love you. And thank you for being a part of our Poddy Pod today.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things to say. I mean, I could go on for hours. Um, I just hope people will be receptive, because they judge so fast when you hear death row.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm paying that every single day. I fell into the rabbit hole again this week of reading some comments online,
Yeah.
and like fighting an invisible giant.
Hmm.
And they always, as a prison wife, I think it's general, but definitely if you're a death row wife, you're almost worse than the person that you married.
Yeah.
Like you judge
Like, how
worse.
could you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, it's almost like we are the criminals ourselves, you know?
Yeah, it's worse. I don't know. I don't understand. I think it's because we see the human in them that they are not able to just even. For them, they're monsters,
Yeah.
and that's it. But we're like, no, they're just normal people, and that they did something horrible at one time, but that's not who they are,
Yeah.
and that's not. Yeah, they can't understand that.
Yeah, they hear a death row moniker and it's like they're the worst of the worst,
Yeah,
and how could you? But
right.
everyone there is a human being, and
Yeah.
they're not just the crime. They're so much more than that.
Hmm. And I know you said before, but the people who are on death row, it's not a fair justice. It's not the worst of the worst that end up there. I mean, it's just sometimes it's really unlucky situations. It's really easy to put someone on death row, really. Um,
Yeah.
so anyway, we don't want to get into that debate, but yeah,
Well, thank you so much for being a part of our episode 27. And you guys, if you want to look at Pentionery on Instagram, you can. We'll add the link down below. We will add her Instagram handle in the description as well. So thank you so much, Sigrid.
thank you.
We love you.
Thank you,
Love you.
Sigrid.
Yes.
All
Bye.
right. Bye. Uh-oh, Paige. I'm getting a call.
Uh-oh. Who is it?
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Fred.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
Uh-oh, good old Florida Fred's calling.
Aw.
That means it's time to go through our questions, and we have a speaky pipe.
Yeah, shout out
I'm very
whoever did
excited.
that.
Yes. All right. So, we didn't have many questions this week. People must have been very busy, but we have one question or one comment, I should say. Actually, no, I got a DM and a question. I mean, a comment. Blah, blah, blah. I can't talk today, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Our comment comes from Jace and Isis.
Okay.
She said, not a question. I just love the last pod. It was very interesting. Thank you, girls. And she put a little heart.
Aw.
So thank you, Jace and
Thank
Isis.
you.
I'm assuming that's Isis.
Yes. That's her
All
love
right.
one.
And then we had a question about rodeo because I think at the end of last pod, I
Was talking
talked
about it.
about our upcoming events, and obviously one of those being our October 13th Angola Rodeo. And so she said, this is from Elle, from our DMs. She said, thank you for always talking to me. You're welcome, Elle. Random question. Re-listening to some old episodes of yours, can you speak on a future episode of possibly of what the rodeo is?
Yeah, you should.
I obviously know what a rodeo is, but how does the prison members play a part? Listening to episode 9 now, and a woman, a former CO, can only see her husband at the rodeo. So that's one of my friends who actually worked. She was a CO at Angola, met her guy, and then ended up, I don't know, they were off and on for a while, and she ended up resigning because of the fact that she fell in love with somebody. So she left. She did not like the way that some of the CEOs treated the incarcerated individuals. And obviously she fell in love and it hit home harder. So she decided to leave on her own. So the rodeo part, Angola hosts, I know that other prisons are used to do, like, especially in Texas, they used to do a prisoner rodeo. I think all of those are gone. And I think the only prison rodeo left is Angola. And Angola hosts rodeos every Sunday in October. There is no visitation on those days, because the trustees, which are incarcerated individuals that are Class A trustees, and some other incarcerated individuals actually work the rodeo. They perform in the rodeo, or they take part in the rodeo. I want to say perform, but they actually, sign up to be in the rodeo. It's a volunteer
That's
thing.
cool.
Um, And they also they make what they call hobby craft, which is like crafts, woodwork, barbecue pits, metalwork, artwork, leather work, jewelry, anything that you can think of that you could buy at like a craft show. The inmates or the incarcerated individuals make throughout the year, and they make them all year to be able to sell their goods at the rodeo. And money they get goes to a part of it goes to the inmate welfare, which is like for indigent incarcerated individuals who don't have family or anybody helping to take care of them. But it also goes to the actual incarcerated individuals so they can continue buying the craft stuff, the supplies they need to be able to make these things. They also have they have a lot of craft fairs in like December. And they also do a rodeo a weekend in April. So it is a big deal for the Angola population. People, it's great for families because you get to hang out with your loved one, and it's not
That's
like a
so
visit. It's more unstructured. So women will go all week, like all the weekends, and just go sit and hang out with their loved one
so
and help them sell stuff.
that's what I was just gonna ask. So like if my man was selling his artwork and he was like sitting at a table, would I be allowed to sit beside the table with him?
You can sit next to him beside the table.
And what's like the security like?
They have people walking around. They have people on like what's those things called where you like stack like risers or for construction. What do they call them? Scaffolds. They have
Okay.
scaffolds. They have like towers where people are watching. They put up like they have the local sheriff's offices and state sheriff's offices donate like mobile camera units. So they have those there. If you buy, they can walk with you to go buy food. If they're a trustee, obviously. And you can just sit and hang out. Like they get breaks and you can sit there and you can take pictures with your cell phone. Like it is unbelievably amazing if you have a trusty loved one working the rodeo, because you get to really hang out with them and spend unstructured time. It's not like, and there's people watching, but it's not like, they're right in front of you. They're like, they might be moving around or something. So it's a great opportunity.
Is there like secure? So like, say someone wants to like get it on during, like, can that happen?
That's happened.
Oh,
yeah. Now, I mean, if you get caught, that's your ass.
yeah.
But it's happened in the past. I know plenty of women who brag about going to rodeo and fornicating. So, yeah, it definitely does happen. But I think if you want to continue going to rodeo and you don't want to jeopardize your loved one's trustee status, which is a huge deal at Angola, and I'm sure in other places, you do the right thing,
If you want them out, you don't want them
Yeah.
to lose that.
But the great thing about also the rodeo is that when you participate in the rodeo, you can win. We're talking hundreds of dollars, almost up to $1,000, that you can have to send home or use for your commissary or help your family out. So people that win the different events in the rodeo get to bring money home, which is a nice thing. So a lot of people do volunteer for it because of that. There's an incentive there. Plus they get to go and be at the rodeo grounds all day. And the rodeo is usually from it used to be from 8 to 3, but now they've extended it to 8 to 4:30. So you can be there all day with your loved one.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah. So we're all going in October. Jess's husband is going to be in the rodeo itself. He's actually a rodeo rider. We'll be actually trying to rustle down a bronco or a baby cow or something. And I will say this.
Panic attack.
Yes, Jess is going to squeeze my hand until it's purple.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to be squeezing each other's hands. It's one thing if you don't know them, but when you know them and you see what happens to some of the guys that go to the rodeo and they end up going to the hospital, it's scary. It's very, very scary.
You better be careful. Has he done that before?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did it when he was out on the street. So he's been
Okay.
doing it all of his life. So I feel, and I know Shane, he's a tough dude. He can handle it. I pretty much feel like he can do an okay job and not get too banged up. But I mean, you never know. These are wild animals. These are not domesticated animals.
Yeah.
And I will say, if you've never been, I suggest you go at least one time in your life. I've only been once, and I had such a blast. And I went by myself for the most part. I went with two other girls. We're gonna say like they're not nice people anymore. But I went with two other ladies who had loved ones that were working, so they just ended up spending the whole day with their loved ones, and I went to the rodeo by myself. And I'd never been to a rodeo before, and I'm a big animal activist, but I enjoyed the fuck out of that. That was so much fun, and I will go anytime somebody wants to go to the rodeo. I am down. So if you need a buddy to go to the rodeo, I'm here. Please,
I would love to go. It's definitely
Yeah.
on my bucket list. I can't this year, but maybe next year I'll need to rearrange my schedule, make it a
Okay.
thing.
We could have another weekend meetup thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you can make it October 13th, y'all, and if you can't make it October 13th, go check it out. Tickets are on sale, and they're like $20, and that gets you in the gate, and you can go to all the hobby craft and get you into the rodeo as well. So,
Yeehaw.
and there's no dress code. The only thing you have to have is a clear purse.
That's
And you
wild.
can bring your cell phone. You can bring your cell phone to the prison grounds. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
All right. Well, we have a speaky pipe, so I'm going to pull that up. This is from Shelly. Here we go.
I want to thank you for what you offer all of us in this community because you are so positive and so real during a time that can be so incredibly scary and frustrating. And you just bring a lot of grounding and a lot of hope and a lot of positivity and so much reality. So thank you for what you do. My husband was shipped out today from his county jail to the diagnostic center, which in Georgia is notoriously dangerous. And I may or may not hear from him for the next 6 weeks.
My
And I'm
God.
absolutely terrified. But you guys help a lot. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I know my body. I'm like, oh my God.
I got goosebumps.
Me too. I can't. The people that have to go through that, the women, the men themselves, like strong as all hell, because that your brain automatically goes to worst place. Even if you try not to.
Well, Shelly, thank you for that message.
Thank you.
We're here with you through all of it, through these next 6 weeks, which are going to be very, very, I'm sure, hard for you. Hard's not even the right word. But
Testing.
yeah, painful, hurtful, hard, difficult testing. I mean, the whole overwhelming, everything. We are here with you. And, if you guys know any information about, anything that I'm not familiar. I mean, I've heard stories about the Georgia diagnostic thing, I think she said. But if you know stuff that can help her, please reach out. I would love to be able to give her more information of anything that can help her through these next 6 weeks, because let me tell you this, that is a long time to not hear from your loved one.
Oh my God.
And
like
me,
like one day I'm like
yeah, a couple hours,
yeah.
like Mike's watching football, and I'm like, he don't want to talk to me, he's watching football, but you are an amazingly strong woman, and we are here to help you in any way that we can. And thank you for that beautiful message.
Thank you.
And it means a lot to us. So
it does.
We really appreciate you. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, shout outs. Are we ready to give shout outs, Paige?
Yeah, you go first.
Oh, okay. Wait, I got to do my shout out thing first.
Shout out.
All right, our shout out. Do I have a shout out? Do I have a shout out? I gave a shout out to Taylor, our new admin team. You know what I'm gonna do? I got it. I'm going to give a shout out to our brand spanking new,
All of them.
awesome admin team. What a fucking amazing group of women. We have now but with us included, we have 8
Yep.
admins on our admin team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have a really great group. We have our first volunteer meeting tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to, and just the conversations we've been having in our group chat has been awesome, fun. You know, we laugh, we ask questions, we communicate.
The
So
energy.
yeah, I love it. So shout out to our new admin team for Love Within Walls. And I hope that
Love you
you know,
guys.
awesome stuff in the future for you, which we have planned already. So very excited about that. Do you have one page?
I wanna like echo that.
Okay.
And just like you said, especially Taylor, she did a really great job with that. And then even the ladies throwing themselves in with the requests and everything. Everyone, it's been just working really awesomely. And
It's
there's
been
a lot of ladies that had messaged me even and saying like that they are excited about the people that we chose to be a part of it. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
yeah. And it's just been working very organic, very seamless, and just seems to be going in the right direction. So I'm very, very excited about that. All right. We have our meme of the week. Meme of the week comes from a page called California Inmates. And it says, when baby gives you the look mm, in the visiting room. And it's a picture of the beginning picture of a woman's underwear. And the bottom picture is a waterfall. Been there, definitely done that. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
was
think
about
we've
to
all
tell
been
a
there.
grotesque story, but I was like, maybe I'll save that for the Patreon.
Ooh, save that for Patreon.
Yeah.
Speaking of Patreon, if you've been sleeping under a rock, you need to join our Patreon because boy, do we talk about some crazy stuff over there, stuff we can't talk about here. And I just did an ASMR prison wife guided meditation that is not only inspirational, but funny as fuck.
Yep.
So I hope you can come over, join us, and get some more juicy stuff. So all right. And for upcoming stuff, Paige, do you have anything for upcoming stuff that's coming up in Love with the Malls, our Facebook group?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I know we have our group, so maybe there's a few things that I don't want to ruin anything.
Can we just say costume contest?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have a Halloween GNI costume party. And we have the rodeo. We have a couple other things in the works. So can we also talk about when we get to 1,000 members?
Mm-hmm.
Can we give them a little hint? All right. So when we get to 1,000 members, we're going to be having some epic giveaways, y'all. And I'm talking really epic. We are almost there. We're at almost about 950 at this point. So we are 50 people away from hitting 1K at Love with the Malls Facebook group. So when we do, you want to be there because we're going to be giving away some cool shit. So just wanted to say that. Well,
Do you need?
that's all I have,
you need to
Paige.
come
Do
say
you have
hi
anything
or
else?
something? Is that what? Brody's just over here staring.
Oh, hi, Brody.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, so you can see me.
Oh, hey. Look at your shirt. How cute, too.
What do you want to say?
Thank you. And I went to the Senators game, and this is what seat I sit in.
Oh, did you get to see everything at that seat? You saw all the baseball players and everything?
Yeah, and Mommy's so far is done with this painting
That's wet.
of me and you.
That's wet paint.
Yeah, and it's going to look so good when Mommy finishes.
Wet.
Some of it's wet. Don't touch it.
Why?
Because some of it's wet. I've been painting.
Now you're painting.
Yes. Okay. Are we
Now-
done?
I can't wait to
now
see
you
you
are-
when she
now
paints
you're
you.
Painting.
Yeah.
You're painting now.
Yes.
Oh, I want to paint with
Okay.
you.
Well, hey, we'll paint later. Okay, because mommy stopped painting.
You're
And he's
wearing
back.
the grandpa shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
The shirt for Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a cool shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right.
Brody's our guest speaker on the pod. You want to say bye to everybody,
Yeah,
Brody? Because we're
Brody's
about to
gonna
say
close it
bye.
out for us.
Go ahead and close it out for us, Brody.
Just say whatever message that you want the podcast to end with.
You want to tell everybody like thank you and have a great
Say
day?
something funny, your goofy stuff.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
All right.
And see when we hear us do this.
Yes.
Oh.
He's so precious. I love him. All right. Well, we are finishing up this pod. We love you guys.
Love you
Hope you have a great
guys.
week. And we will see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
Love you. Besitos. Bye, guys.
Friends.